Hey guys, still here and welcome to today's Wargame video, which is a bit different from usual. It's not a replay or something like that. We're looking at the 1991 mod, which has a new update, and it added this, the Southern Bloc. It's a group of units from Romania, Bulgaria and Hungary, and they have a couple of units which are, for me at least, utterly unpronounceable. So that's why I'm not doing this thing solo. I have both Atesz, who is from Hungary, and Sparky here, who is most definitely not from Hungary. We're going to have a bit of discussion about these units, and Atesz is going to try and teach at least me and potentially Sparky how to actually pronounce these units. So, welcome guys.
Hello everyone.
Going from left to right through the armory here, of course, let's say sort of ignoring the vehicle tab, because we're going to see duplicates there with the infantry transports. Atesz, the command infantry, what is that?
Okay, you try it first.
Paranksnoksag?
Close one. Parancsnokság. It means HQ.
Okay.
Wanna try it?
Parancsnokság?
Very good. Sparky, wanna try it?
Parancsnokság.
Okay. Parancs.
Parancs.
Nok.
Shag.
Shag.
Parancsnokság.
Yeah, very good.
Except without being broken up like that. Anyway, go on. Continue.
Interesting to see these guys with a sniper rifle. Command infantry with a sniper rifle.
I didn't even notice that, actually.
They do. Honestly, I would have given them a PKM, but if you want to keep them unique, then it's one way to do it.
Yeah. As for their transports, nothing really special there. We got the Mi-8T, the Mi-17.
Yeah, they have the.
It does have 80mm rocket pods, which is nice. Very inaccurate, though.
They have the PSH, or PSH as we call it. It's actually a homegrown unit, so.
Oh, it is? Okay.
And even more fun fact, the unit that's in the game, the OTA 65, if I remember correctly, it was ordered by the Czech Republic from Hungary.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, some trivia for you.
The MLI, we discussed this before this video was recorded. It's a supposed sort of BMP-ish command unit. Looks a hell of a lot like a Stormer, and of course you cannot change all the unit models in the game. I believe they did do some work on them, but this one they opted for a Stormer by the looks of it. What do you guys think of the command tank? TR-77K, 17 frontal armor, 8 side.
17 frontal armor is pretty good for a fucking T-55.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about for this mod. You can actually have this as a combat command unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Although
can.
it's
It's
reasonably
almost the same armor as a Leopard 2.
Yeah. It'd be a reasonably decent tank. I mean, there's nothing spectacular in terms of firepower with P and 9 and HE.
No.
Well, HE is fine. I mean, HE is good at dealing with infantry. 3 HE is pretty good. But
You will still
maybe light vehicles and stuff. I suppose you're not going to put it up against a Leopard 2A5, but it is a pretty decent looking unit that you could, you know, use at the start to push or whatever.
Well, keep in mind that the Leopard 2A5 doesn't exist in 1991 mod.
Yes.
The best tank that the Germans will throw at you is the Leopard 2A4, which only has, what was it, 19 AP, of which you'll shrug off 17 at max range, that is.
Yeah.
Well, still, while you're standing still, you will need a small miracle to hit something, but at least it can fight back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you are even panicked,
good luck
it's
with
easier
that.
to shoot yourself.
Yeah. Mi-8 logistics bird. Geez, that carries a lot of supplies. 4,200. That's quite a bit more than a normal one.
Oh, yeah.
A Chinook, by comparison. Oh, the Chinook has also been changed. They carried 6,200 now.
Oh.
Okay.
As do the CH-53Gs.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not specific. It's just an over-the-board upgrade.
Yeah. By the way, that's all. Do you want to try to pronounce the Mi-8?
Shalito?
No,
How do you
actually
pronounce
not.
that A?
The way you did, actually.
Really? Okay.
So the only mistake you made is that SZ, we pronounce it as S, like the basic S letter in English.
Right.
So it becomes Salito.
Salito.
Sounds
But-
almost Italian.
You have to, you know.
Does that mean supplies by any chance? Because we also got the Ural 4320 with the same sound
Yeah,
still.
yeah, like cargo, transporter, it has
Okay.
that many.
The transport options do seem alright. You got the Abal if you want something for cheap, 10 points. It basically carries nothing, but it is amphibious. The Hilo,
Yeah, but
and then the 2 trucks.
also, the S70 seems to be a good intermediate helicopter. The
The
S70C2.
Where do you see that one?
Third from the bottom. It's for some reason it has a Chinese flag. Which is, oh wait, sorry, I had China enabled. Okay, forget it.
Never mind then. Alright, infantry. I think with infantry we're going to really see the weird pronunciations come up.
Yeah, the first one is definitely not Hungarian.
Chimisti?
Chimishti, I think.
Probably
Napalm
Romanian, are they?
launchers. 50% accuracy on that, that's pretty good. 3 HE.
PM90, it is Romanian.
Hmm.
Well, they come with an interesting set of transports. So I don't know if I would be the one to call in sappers with a Puma, with twin gun pods and rocket pod.
Well,
Yeah.
you could argue that you want to just rush these guys to a forward position, have them take out enemy infantry while the helicopter takes out the transports, if it lives long enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big investment though, 50 points for one squad of a 5-man group.
Yeah. Although it actually depends. If the autocannon, I haven't seen this mod, so, but if the autocannon can actually rotate, it's very powerful. If it's
Yeah.
fixed, well, it's an opportunistic weapon then.
I think they're fixed by the looks of it.
Sparky,
would
that
say
next
they are
unit's yours to pronounce. I'm not touching that one.
Okay. I have to clear the throat for this. Okay, you ready?
Mhm.
I'm just looking at it. That's nice. RPG and Igla. Anyway. Is there no sock? Some of these units I won't have an issue with. I might have an issue with, but not as much because like Hungarian units are in Steel Division 2, so I have played with the Hungarian army before. And plus, I talk to Atesz all the time, so you know.
Yeah, that helps.
But these guys, I go on Atesz. I just no.
Do you want to try stealth or should I proceed?
Aishtverniosok? Suk?
Uh,
It's an O with 2 dots on it.
well, it's A2 Ernyushuk.
Yeah,
Which
that was
means
nowhere near.
Hey,
Okay.
These are paratroopers.
Yeah, paratroopers
Hungarian
conversion by Mi-24D. Jeez, that's expensive. That's 75 points.
yeah,
Technically, you get a Hungarian FJB 40 squad.
Yeah.
and the Mi-24D has only got gun pods.
Yeah, that's a very interesting change as well. It's just guns.
But it's plenty of guns.
It's lots of guns. Brings new meaning to the term guns, guns, guns.
Mm-hmm.
Guns,
I
all of
also
them.
like the new weapon icon for the AMD-65, that assault rifle. It actually has a foregrip.
Yeah,
That's really nice.
fun fact. Do you know what that foregrip was? Actually, there is 2 of them on the weapon. The foregrip is technically just the normal grip turned around in 180 degrees.
What?
Yep. It was
Okay.
easier,
Cost-saving
cheaper,
measure.
and easier, cheaper, and faster to manufacture. The only problem was that, as you can see, the magazine is curved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the 20-rounder magazines, there was no problem because there was enough clearance. However, 30-rounder magazines could actually get stuck in the foregrip.
Oh.
When you're trying to remove them.
Yep.
Yeah.
that needed some practice. Usually these were fielded with 20-rounders.
Right. As for their transports, Mi-8 is alright. It's just a PKM. Mi-17. I try to rush these guys forward, so probably the Mi-24D, just because I'm curious to see what it does.
Mm-hmm. It's also
Dropped a
interesting
couple of these guys off.
how they kept it quote-unquote realistic. They have only BMP ones. We
Yeah.
never had any BMP2s, and they don't have any BMP2s in the game either.
Right.
Then we got the Grupa support.
Oh yeah, you
that's-
get the easy one.
Oh, trust me, there's plenty of difficult stuff coming up.
This is Romanian, so
SPG 90, I think we've seen that one before, right? Nothing
it's
terribly special.
SPG 9D, but yes.
Oh, 9D, 9 Delta. Yeah, you're right.
Still though, I mean, I think it's a unit that's even in vanilla Wargame is not used all that much. You see, like Tanky Shishao for the Chinese are used quite a lot in terms of RPG or recoilless rifle.
They use the
support.
same weapon.
They use the same weapon, but you don't see other, like, I mean, if you see guys playing as the Poles or as Czechoslovakia or whatever, you don't ever see people use, you know, SPG 9s all that much.
No, not
usually, if they have the choice, they will use the Granatomets or AGS or whatever.
That's not just me rooting for recoilless rifles again, but, you know.
The B-33 Zimbru transport, is that something that's familiar to you? I mean, it just looks like a transport.
To me, it doesn't look familiar. If I had to take a bet, now I may be bad, I'm going to Google it up after the video, but if I had to make a wild guess, I think it's a local made BTR 70 or BTR 80. Although I could be very, very far from the truth. We'll see in a few, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Regular line infantry, I think, is the next one. RPG 7 VM.
Yep.
Those are Hungarian, aren't they?
Exactly. And how could you tell them?
Because I've seen the Lovishek or whatever it is before in
guns.
the Lovishek gun. I've seen the second part of the name in Steel Division 2. So
I was actually hoping that you would say that they had AMD 65s. But...
Also, the fact that there was AMG 65s, I did see those too. So
okay, so who wants to try?
I'll try it.
Gepushitet Lovishek.
Actually, the first one was technically perfect, so it was just the thing that you got wrong. The second one, you made the same mistake as the previous time. SZ.
Right.
Sure.
It's a sh. It's not an S. Yeah.
Yep.
Got it.
So it's Gépesített lövészek. It means motorized motorized rifleman, if I want to translate like very strictly, but motorized infantry.
Yeah, so pretty much your line infantry. And then how are they different from the infanteristi? Are they different? Are they got a different weapon?
They got a
stabilizer.
Stabilizer, yeah.
The Romanians can fire the LMG on the move.
PKM is bigger. Oh, PKM is bigger suppression.
Yep.
50 versus 30. And, maybe the infanteristi are more geared towards close-in warfare with the CQC weapon. Okay, so those guys for close-in. The MLI 84.
I'll mute myself for a second. It's just a minor problem here.
Yep. MLI 84 looks interesting. We never had a BMP with a machine gun on it, as far as I know.
Yeah, we haven't. Interesting.
The Malyutka M?
I would say that taking out the Malyutka, the MLI 84 could be decent at dealing with infantry.
Yeah.
Just because of the dishcom.
Yep. It's cheap too. And amphibious. Also, that 16 AP might not look like much, but keep in mind that the best armor on this tank is, or on the tanks is what, 20?
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Challenger 1 Mark III has the best armor in the game, I think, at 20 points of frontal armor. So that 16 normally would be not very impressive, but now is actually really not that bad.
Yeah, because it's limited to dealing with, as you say, whatever the frontal armor the Challenger 1 Mark III is.
Technically, with this mod, not so dangerous units have become dangerous.
Yeah, quite. Including that 15 or 16 AP that we've seen on rocket launchers.
Especially look at the Kashmir, look at their AP power.
Yeah, 21, that'll cut through any armor. Kashmiria. Still regular
These
troops.
are Bulgarians, I would say, are they?
I think they are Bulgarians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They are because they are using AK-74s.
AK-74s, yeah.
And
They are
BMP-23s, 23mm gun.
Yep.
Interesting. And the 23 has a Victoria HGM. Range is still a bit lacking.
Still, but you just need to place it well, and
Yeah.
it won't need a 2450.
Also interesting to see that you get to pick whether you want the Kashmeria and the BMP-1 or the BMP-1P. Which is just a slightly, I'd say an overall slightly better missile on the BMP-1P.
Also, you get it. Oh yeah, sorry, no, I'm looking
It
at the
might
missile, not the gun.
be limited in availability. Maybe that's a balancing factor of sorts.
Most probably, because they don't differ by points at all.
Yeah. Paratroopers.
Yep, these are Romanian guys.
These guys got so much infantry to pick from.
Parachutisti, I guess.
Again, that Puma with the twin autocannons and the rocket pods, the PKM, and the MS-17.
15 strength, shock infantry.
Yep. Good luck getting these guys out of a town.
And
they're
21
to
AP
stay.
power for the RPG.
Yeah. It is a
standard
CQC machine gun as well.
Oh yeah.
That makes them even more dangerous.
Well, I wouldn't want to fight with these guys, to be sure.
No.
Yeah, no, they're definitely a decent infantry for town fights and forest fights.
Forest fights
Good
too.
close
Yeah.
range. Like you get it if you get it even a pretty well armored infantry fighting vehicle into the woods with them, they're still going to do some damage, you know.
I think these
Usually
guys
AP.
could even make Israeli units run.
Yeah.
I don't know what the armor value for Israel is in this mod. I haven't
we can
checked
check.
it, but
Infantry vehicles. Achsarit still has 11 frontal armor. So it's going to take a couple of charges to take that one down. The Zelda has 2. Nachmash has 2. Hamer, none. And the Nunhun... Sorry, Nun... what is that? The Nun? The M325? Known. So they don't really have that much outside of that one transport. The Achsarit.
Yep. I scrolled down a bit. Eagle is not really
It's
anything
not really that
special.
impressive, is it?
They're
Versus the
Bulgarian unit.
CA-94. Pretty similar stats. Igla seems slightly better. A bit more accurate, a bit more range. But outside of that, not that different.
The other interesting unit is this Tikina. These Bulgarian, I think they are airborne.
Special forces.
15-man elite special forces group.
18 AP.
Yep. Also have a
12 charges.
stabilizer of the PKM.
Yep. However, it's not CQC.
Yeah. That's a bit of an oversight. That limits their what do you call that? Their deployment abilities in towns.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if it's just a bug and it doesn't show because I don't know if you can see, but even the AK-74 has no markers.
Yeah, has no markers either.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Might
I
be a
doubt
bug
these
then.
guys will just wave their rocket launchers like, oh, okay, we are peaceful, we are just going to shoot you with these ones.
Well, actually, if you scroll up through all the units, the same. The only weapons that seem to have any markers on them are RP. Well, actually, no. Some of the machine guns are CQC,
Some of the machine guns, yeah.
but the rifles don't seem to be.
Well,
Anything.
they appear for a sec if you keep switching between them quickly with the mouse. You can see them for a flash.
Oh, you can. Yeah, you can.
And how would you guys deploy the Vanatori de Monte?
Well,
What's their
these
role?
guys.
I would say they're mountain troops, are they?
Yeah, they seem to be mountain troops by the name.
Romanian.
Yeah, absolutely.
The transports are really not that special. So it's not like they're bringing their own IFV or something like that. AT is okay. And beyond
also
that, it's a PKM and a PM.
It's also interesting how the pricing is not really in order. Like 15.5, 15.10, 15.10, 15.5 again, and then 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a minor thing, but if you get used to the way Wargame usually works. You can easily pick the wrong unit.
Yeah.
Don't know how I deploy them. Like, they're shock infantry.
Yeah. They're somewhere between
Again.
the two, the really good guys, the parachutisti, the 15-man shock squad, the 15-man elite squad. I say they're somewhere between line infantry and the parachutisti.
Yeah.
Exactly in point value as well, at 15 points.
Yeah. I don't see any particular out of all of the infantry here. I don't really see any use for them. Like if I was looking at them, looking at building a deck out of this, the parachutisti or whatever seem to be far better, far better choice. Yes, they're cheaper, but you know,
I would
think
either
you could do
use.
more.
Yeah,
Sorry.
But I just want to say that I would also either use the parachutisti or the Tikina even.
Infanteristi or the Gepisted if you want to spam.
Yeah.
Kashmiri at, I don't know, clear forests.
A2 Anyuzhok if you just want to quickly grab a land before the enemy does.
Yeah.
So.
Alright, let's check support then. I think we're going to see quite a few familiar units here, or at least similar stats.
I already see one that you could try to pronounce.
That 2SZ1?
Yep. Technically, the name makes no sense, but I'll explain later. Anyone want to try?
Llewellyn Kipshay? It sounds half Swedish or something, the way that I pronounce it.
A close one. Sparky?
Lolem Kepzo.
Ah, even closer. Llewellyn Kipshay. Technically, if I want to translate it, it means firing solution creator, like ballistic computer.
That's easier to pronounce.
But we never call these units that. We call them Acacia.
Okay.
So, I don't know
we know
why.
those things.
Yep.
Compared to the Curran field, they seem a bit more accurate. But what's the point of having both the Curran field and the Acacia in the same options? Oh, the Acacia fires farther by 5,000 meters.
And the Llewellyn Kipshay has a smaller dispersion.
Yeah, I'm comparing
Smaller
the,
dispersion and higher rate of fire.
Yeah, you are competing. You are
I'm
comparing
the 2S1 and 2S3. It is interesting though to see an amphibious assault unit or an amphibious arty unit.
Oh, look at that!
It also has one more AG power.
Yeah.
The Lolem Kepso or whatever it is has got a higher rate of fire.
Yeah, 7. Oh, that's the balancing factor. The Acacia has only 4 rounds a minute rate of fire, and the Curran field has 7. That's almost
also,
double the fire rate.
If it comes down to close range fighting, which it shouldn't, because by the time your art is already screwed, but the Acacia can protect itself a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Osa AK is nothing special, I think.
Nope.
Coop Z
either.
Pretty standard.
Although, did it damage 9 also in the base game?
I think so. You always needed something to do a little bit more damage to kill an aircraft, unless it was one of those weaker ones.
Okay, CA95.
Is
Nothing
that
special. I think it just wants to be a.
I think it's
a Strela. It's a Strela.
Okay.
Strela, yeah. BRDM or whatever it is.
Yeah, and compared to the Strela 10M, it is also from 1991. Really?
I'd say one is.
Oh wait, one. I think all the units are from 1991.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Okay.
It may be the the guidance system maybe, or
something like that.
One rocket is the original Russian one, the other is a homemade version. I don't know. R2.
All these cluster RDs can fire smoke.
R2.
Can
D2.
the other ones do it as well? If I'm looking at the British? No, the British GSRS, they can't fire smoke. Let's see if the French have it. The LRM? No, can't fire smoke. German Mars, if it's in. Lars and Mars. Yeah, the Lars can do it, the Mars can't.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be a distinguishing feature to see that these guys can actually deploy smokescreen very quickly. And then you swarm in with all that infantry that you have available.
Yeah, it can be an interesting tactic to combine the two.
Also, they have a PKT on them, some of them. The more expensive AA and artillery units.
Mm-hmm.
Again, though, if something is actually in that range, you have a bit more of an issue on your hands. Mortars, pretty standard, I'd say.
Yep.
Nothing really special.
The SU-76.
SU-76
well, I suppose
reporting for duty.
I
These are
suppose you could
interesting.
use it as a cheap artillery unit.
They're even more accurate in your mortars.
Mm-hmm.
Really close range too, 4,200 meters.
You can
They've got a
actually
tight
use them.
dispersion compared to
Yeah.
say the Punchka or whatever it is, and they've got a quite a
ASMM.
bit tight dispersion.
Yep.
22 rounds a minute.
And then we
And
got
they
the
have a
TAT
massive-
A346 MD80, which is just a whole lot of NTR power.
Yep.
And if I
And there
recall
is
correctly with this mod, you can turn off the left gun, as it were, and it's not radar guided.
yeah.
Which means you can suddenly start using it against ground targets, but you lose a lot of accuracy if you do that. And
Mhm.
range.
An
Although it's
interesting tactic, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that on multiple units.
But I
Shilka
like
has
the
it too.
fact that you have to micromanage. So
Yeah, you do.
It's the same with the Shilka down the bottom.
Yep.
yep, the one on the left, the ZSU is actually Hungarian.
Buske?
Buske.
Buske. Okay.
It either means it means proud,
Okay.
but at the same time, as far as I know, these systems were named after plants. And Buske is I actually googled it up how it is in English,
Mm.
and it's gooseberry.
Mm-hmm.
Gooseberry.
So yeah, it
It's
means two
really
things.
inaccurate, though. I don't
Although,
really
yeah.
see a role for these things because they have such poor accuracy, and it doesn't get made up with the rate of fire either.
Well, I don't. I cannot remember their accuracy in the normal game, but I know that these, for me, make very good use as a throwaway anti-air unit. Even if I
Yeah.
just kill one
Base
Cobra
defense.
with two of them, I just get the point back.
Yeah. They could
And-
arguably make it a decent combination with the Kub.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
just need to hit once with these, and then the Kub either finishes it off or vice versa.
Or you just want to stun the enemy with it,
Yeah.
so they don't hit with the ATGM.
Tanks.
Surprisingly, out of that support tab, the one I would be most impressed with is the SU-76. If you use it in like a mortar row,
Yeah.
you know, it's okay. I know the mortar's got 600. Well, sorry, I'm looking at the machine gun. No, but it's got a higher rate of like that's impressive. Like I would probably jump to that.
You are not going to have fun when you are being under fire with it.
No, for
No.
multiple reasons, because your autonomy sucks, and you cannot get out of at least a flat ground fast. You're going to have to stick to
Mhm.
roads, which makes you predictable. 45
Nah.
kph off-road speed is bad.
It is bad, but it could be work. You could work with it.
But
Yeah,
honestly,
Don't try those then.
Don't dismiss a unit straight away just because it drives slow.
And like
Right.
myself, fast.
Well,
People
with the
said that
20
about the Koenigsegg.
yeah, well, the 22 rate of fire is more than enough to make your, I don't know, squad just vanish.
True.
Or
Mm.
If it hits,
stun
then
something.
hitting should
and
not be
then-
a problem.
especially if you use more of them. So
Yeah.
combine 2 or 3 into one platoon, just saturate the
Range
place.
is a bit of an issue as well. But look,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
You stick a supply helo or vehicle close to them.
Yeah. Anyway,
Tanks.
Okay, thanks.
T-55A.
You're welcome. Sorry, it was a bad
That's a-
joke.
That's a pretty punchy gun for a 25-point tank.
yep.
Whoa.
With nice rate of fire, although lacking accuracy.
The TR-77 is also really cheap. It has a ton more armor, and it just doesn't really damage much.
Mm.
You're sacrificing all of your firepower for armor with the tier 77.
You have to decide, what do I want to do? Survive a hit, but not kill shit, or kill plenty of things but be destroyed and by actually just being looked at.
I blend these. Make a sort of meat shield, so let's say a first line of tier 77s and have the T-55s follow 100 meters behind.
Mm-hmm.
Combine that with the smoke launchers that we've seen from the support tab. Deploy the smoke screen. Make sure you don't have to fire that first, or have to cross that 300 meter range that the, let's say the Leopards and maybe the Leclerc outrange you. And you have a pretty potent combination here.
If you can keep your cool under combat and don't panic for, thousands of reasons you can panic in Wargame.
Yeah.
And if you have the nerves to micromanage on this level, these meat shield tanks can be actually very good. And you are playing like 30, 25 points, I think.
Tier 85s are a big step up.
It's interesting how they decided to use the Chinese model for the vehicle, because in real life it almost looks exactly like a T-55. And they have a very nice voice. Last year on NATO days I had the pleasure of seeing them in real life.
And hearing them?
They have a hell of a sound.
Again, you're trading a lot of armor for firepower with the TR-85.
Honestly, I would see the merit. They would have very good merits, these tanks, but the AP power is just a big turnoff.
Yeah.
Take out eye of vision, no problem, but beyond that, you're going to have a big issue.
And for 45 points, I don't want something that can only hunt IFVs.
No. I was thinking of these as flank defense, or let's say the lesser active regions of the map. But then you'd probably still want something that does more than 7.
And just in case something thicker appears.
Yeah.
I don't know if this mod has a KPZ-70s or MBT-70s, but even those would be a little threat to this unit.
I'm not seeing the KPZ-70 under the Germans. Americans? No, not really.
No, they're not there. I don't think they're there.
No. I think that's because they tried to keep the mod as close to what was actually being used instead of just using these experimental units.
Yeah.
T-62M is decent all-rounder, decent gun, decent frontal armor.
Yeah. The T-55AM2 is also a great unit.
Yep. That Bosnia missile, damn. 2,800 meter range. I think that's better than what you have on most ATGMs.
Yep. And 19 AP power.
Yeah. In fact, that is better than what you have on all the ATGMs.
On paper, this should be quote-unquote how it should be.
Yeah.
Because the caliber of these ATGMs should give them a very high AP power. Although I know that ATGMs are not kinetic, but obviously the bigger the stuff is, the more you can stuff into it.
Yep. T-72A, good all-rounder as well. Good upgrade over the T-62, but you're paying 65 points for it as opposed to 50. Your AP is a bit lower. Frontal armor's a bit higher. Off-road speed's better though by 10 kph.
And also the autonomy by a very small margin.
Yep.
Although it takes much more fuel. So
yeah, it does.
The T-62 has 50 less range with almost 300 less fuel. So.
Yep. Oh, you're also getting more rate of fire, by the way. 6 to 8.
And
then the T-72M1.
You get more armor.
Armor, frontal sight, and the TR-125. No, yeah, TR-125. 125 millimeter. Is that a homegrown product?
No, it's a Romanian experimental vehicle.
Okay.
There was only, well, the exact number is something I do not know, but there was between 5 and 10 of them made.
You're getting a bit less autonomy, but this is the best tank that you can field. Let's say you're fighting Germany. You're paying 90 points, and you're getting a unit that can pen 17 points of frontal armor, whereas the Germans have 20 points of frontal armor on the 2A4.
Although if you totally went for range and AP power, the T55 is a better choice for the ATGMs.
Yeah, it is. And you carry 4 of those. Now, you're going to have to get into range. And even if you do try to rush with your T55s, you're going to have to get pretty close to that Leopard 2A4 in order to actually pen it.
But until you have the ATGM, it's actually a better alternative.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that once the 4 rockets are depleted, you are out of luck, technically.
Yeah, pretty much. Because, the gun's decent at 17 AP. I think the T55s might be the staple of that deck, tank-wise.
If I had to pick the spine of my deck, that would be the one, actually. And maybe some 72s for the armor itself.
Yeah, and for the 4HE. I always really like that. 4HE, better rate of fire. You just go through... Oh, actually not a better rate of fire. You just go through infantry faster. Alright, reconnaissance. BIM.
Yep.
Looks like your standard recon squad.
Yep. Standard BRDM. Fug. Felderítő úszó gépjármű. Swimming reconnaissance vehicle.
Is that what that stands for? Okay. Amphibious at 45. That's pretty quick for an amphibious vehicle.
Yep.
Good autonomy, very good optics, good stealth. Yeah,
small
like
size.
And 15 points only.
This is a very good trade. I don't know. I think it may be the availability. I don't know what you are paying for. Because for 15 points, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly. I'd probably pay 20, 25 points for something like this, even if it is unarmed. Just means I don't have to turn the gun off.
Yeah, exactly.
Even Sova. 23mm autocannon.
The BRM 1K is just like it used to be.
Yeah. Oh god, here come the letters again.
Okay, who wants to try?
Sparky?
Is this the
Felderit?
30 point
No,
oh sorry, no.
15 pointer below the BRM. Feldiro Toxospo CSO port. If you see CS right next to each other, it's ch. Like chicken, if you want.
Support.
So
it's something to do with support.
So technically, the last K is not needed, so it's either a misspell or a grammatical error. It's technically Felderítő csoport. That means recon group.
that name. 5-point squad, sniper rifle, RPG. Plenty of transport options, although I don't know exactly why I'd want an HEGM carrying transport for that. Well, no, actually, if you get the BMP 1P, you can get a recon unit and park the BMP a little bit ways down the road. You spot and they kill. Just don't rely on the Grom too much. Although I'm saying that now, but the BMP 1 with the Grom, 17 AP. Let's say that German Leopard is coming at you. Could be a 1A4. You'll pen that. With a 1A5, you'll go right through it.
It's actually a very good deterring vehicle.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so that's why they combined those.
Yeah, and they also have the TA if you want to go very lightweight. And they also, the PSI is also a recon vehicle, if you see it.
Medium stealth, good optics, amphibious.
It's actually not bad. For 30 points you get technically 2 recon units. And you can even combine it with the Fug.
Yeah, it's almost as good as the Fug. It just has a machine gun, which I might not like on a recon unit. And you're paying very good optics to good optics. Not bad. Good combination.
Interesting team.
Recon Halo is the IAR 316B with 55mm rocket pods. That's a strange diameter.
55 are, if I remember correctly, they were one of the standard diameters for Russian rocket pods. Russians sometimes have strange numbers for. Well, then again, strange for us, not strange for them. So
yeah.
Well, they have interesting diameters, yes.
MI1R, Jesus, that thing is slow.
Yeah, and dangerous in real life. But I like the black coating.
Is the MI1R dangerous?
Well, to its crew, yes.
How does that work?
It had a very nasty habit of throwing away its rotor blades mid-flight.
Well, that's not a good thing to do.
Yeah, and actually there is a story I have heard here in Hungary when I was in the aircraft mechanic school. There was a pilot who survived one of these crashes. It had a crew of two, a pilot and I don't know what the other person was doing, but he was sitting right behind the pilot, if you are looking at the model right now. And right behind that panel is it has a, what is it called, a radial engine inside. Now I cannot remember where the fuel tank exactly was, but if I remember correctly, it was right behind the panel. So when these things just fell to the ground, they immediately were set on fire, and the crew usually just burnt inside alive. But there was this one person who survived, and he took off with the helicopter, and well, the MI1 did what it had to do. It threw the rotor blades away and into the ground. And the glass is actually not glass, but plastic, plexi, something.
Plexiglass or something, yeah.
And the story went by that they crash landed. The vehicle was set on fire. The guy on the back had no chance of getting out. He burned alive in his own seat. The pilot survived by because the whole helicopter was surrounded with flames. The plexiglass actually melted. So he, with his bare hands, because there was no other way out, he pushed his fingers into the molten plexi and pulled it away.
Oh my God.
And went through it. Well, needless to say, he lost all of his fingers, and he had nasty burns, but he got away from the helicopter itself.
What a story.
Yeah, so I definitely wouldn't want to fly any of these.
So if you get to pick, which recon helo would you use?
No-brainer, IAR 316.
Yeah?
As far as I know, they don't have such habits.
I don't think they have the same habits in game either.
Or nobody lived to tell the tale about it, which is also interesting.
And then come the sniper teams.
Also Hungarians. Who wants to try?
Well, we already know the Federitok, or Felderitok. Sorry, Felderito, because the K wasn't necessary.
In this time, actually, the K can work. In the previous one, it was it's a bit complicated. It's not a grammar class. In the previous case, the K wasn't needed. Here is not a problem.
And what did it mean again?
In the previous one, Felderítő csoport, it was a reconnaissance group.
Okay.
And the K shows that there is not one but more of them.
Ah, right. So it indicates where that's plural. Right.
And that's why in the previous case it wasn't needed, because it was like recons or reconnaissance as a group. So you see. But
Sparky,
in this case,
trying that first bit.
Melisegi.
Close. It's just small pronunciation. We have very fancy letters. I will explain it later. Stealth, you want to try it?
Melisegi.
Almost. Ly. It's 2 letters, but we pronounce it as one. Y. Mélységi felderítők.
Mélységi.
It means like in-depth reconnaissance, behind lines reconnaissance.
Alright.
Makes sense. Sniper, exceptional stealth, 30
Yep.
kph off-road.
A suppressed
Suppressed
AK
AK,
variant.
I think.
Yeah.
Yep, suppressed AK-63D, which was called AMMS for some reason. The normal AK was sometimes called AMM and AMMS. And they also have an anti-material rifle.
Mm.
Yep. Nice unit to use
Um,
behind enemy lines. I just wonder how quickly you're going to get detected once you start sniping artillery or anti-air units.
I don't know, in normal wargame they do the same things with the Senke and they
Yep.
just usually get away with it.
Yeah,
If there is...
you just
if
start your
nobody-
units to see damage. They randomly start taking hits.
hmm And of course at first you think, let's say your unit was parked in the forest, you have lost your CV, you look at it, oh, damn it, lucky cluster or something, you just don't really think about it, and it was the Senke.
And then it happens again.
And again,
PT-76B, I think we know. T-55AM,
Looks pretty good for
pretty good for a recon.
gun.
tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14 frontal, 14 gun. Pretty accurate, even on the move. Medium optics, 55 kp. Yeah, solid tank.
Yeah, the front armor is not bad for a recon tank.
RGSN, recon, infantry, elite. So these are the commandos then.
Yeah, they seem to be like the Bulgarian heavy guys.
18 AP, not quite enough to go through heavy armor, or well, the top tier armor.
Yeah, but if
take a
they have
side shot
anything
and you'll
lower
kill it.
than that, they are a significant threat.
Yep. AK-74U is really good. Sniper makes them less than ideal for town fights, though.
Yeah, but if you place them on the side of a city or I don't know, they are good against light helicopters or even recons.
And then we have the UAZ 469, which I think is a familiar unit, and then a 40mm grenade launcher recon.
Wow. Which seems to be actually a recoilless rifle. Sparky!
Is it though?
Well, the model is.
Oh, yeah, the model is. Yeah, I guess they couldn't change that.
Yeah, obviously. Well, not a problem. I'm actually amazed they have managed to do all of these.
Yeah.
With Wargame, knowing how much it likes mods.
For a Jeep, though, it feels pretty slow at 65 off-road. Most Jeeps do 80 or 90 even. The Fug does 90. The BRDM 2 does 100. Does the grenade launcher make this vehicle so heavy that it cannot be faster? The UAZ 469 does 70.
Although it takes very, very few fuel. And it has a very big autonomy.
Jesus.
Like 65 liters, 1,000 kilometers.
That's a 1:13 ratio or something.
Who the fuck needs
really
a Tesla anyways?
Yeah. Alright, vehicle tab's going to be a bit convoluted with the units that we already have seen on the transports.
Well, you've got the two BRDM HGM vehicles at the top anyway, are definitely for the vehicle tab.
Yeah. Yeah, I was discussing with Atesz a moment ago. Did you ever see a unit like the 9P133 with a, well, what looks like a collapsible roof? It's like this thing sticks the roof up, fires the missiles, and pulls them back in. But I don't think I've ever seen a model like that.
I have, yeah. It would have been that. It would have been. I think the North Koreans had a unit in the vanilla game that was like that. It's just a BD. It's a what's it called, BRDM with Malyutkas, but that's how it works.
Right. Yeah, I don't play those guys, so that's why I wouldn't know.
Yeah. I've seen reload. Well, I've seen how the 9P148 reloads in Arma 3.
It's actually spectacular.
They like turn the gun and then pull it back, and it's just pulling off a launcher for a Conquerors and putting it back on again. That's kind of it.
Okay. It forwards itself back.
Yeah.
Actually interesting. Okay, then
AT100
is
it's like an SU-100.
Yeah.
It's an SU-100, yeah.
They also have the bigger variant, right?
The
Further down the line, the
SU-152.
T152.
Yep.
Now that, if I was looking at it, would be, I was just looking at it a minute ago, is an interesting unit for me. Because you've got heat rounds.
Yep.
So it's got 13 AP for heat, 35% accuracy, decent range on it. Slow rate of fire. But then
True.
also it's got high explosive rounds at
Yep.
7 HE.
Yeah, it's pretty much your engineer's vehicle. AVRE, something like that. 10 front armor is not bad either.
Yeah, you couple 2 of them and you can stop an infantry charge. Well, 1 squad for sure.
Yep. Although if I had the choice between using that or an Mi-8 with a rocket pod, I would probably go for the Mi-8. It's more agile. But sure enough, it would have to go back to an FOB or other resupply point.
It's also a sensible choice, yeah. It really depends on what you are going for.
It depends on what your playstyle is, I suppose, doesn't it? Because, I mean, I would personally, I always kind of, you have to know that they don't have that much AA to be relying on helicopters in that situation. Because even one man-pad squad could knock out, you know, as many helicopters as they feel fit until you know. So for me, I would say if you can keep its flanks protected from maybe hostile infantry in the woods or something like that, and other tanks then as well, enemy tanks from frontal armor or from forward on. If you're just facing infantry and trying to defend against an infantry attack, or also trying to attack a town yourself and looking for a nice fire support vehicle, I would take that T-152.
Yep. And then finally in that tab you got the UAZ 469 SPG-9, which is just your standard recoilless rifle from what I can see. Good rate of fire. Damage is actually really respectable in this mod, seeing as 20 armor is the max.
Oh, well then, yeah. For 10 points.
For 10 points, fire twice and you're lucky if you live that long. But you'd probably make something out of it.
Yeah, even though you have only 35% accuracy.
Yeah. Helicopters. A couple of interesting options. I'm going to take off the transport helicopters and leave me with 3 gunships. The IAR 330L, the Mi-24D, and the Mi-24V.
It's also interesting how the Mi-24V is not an AA helicopter anymore.
Yeah, they changed that. This is the actual gunship now. 80mm rockets. Dreadful accuracy, but at least you carry a lot of them. Kokons. Good speed as usual. The Mi-24D. Slightly worse missile, I think. Phalange.
Actually, now that I'm looking at the Mi-24D, I think I wasn't correct with the information previously, because this has the S5, I mean it has 57mm, and that's what the standard
Russian... that's something I recognize, but not the 55.
Yeah, 55 was, I think, was something else. I mixed them up, but now that I see the 57, I remember. Yep, this was the one that I was thinking about.
Get it right, Atesz.
Okay, sorry.
I think for 15 points, the Mi-24V is an upgrade in every regard, contrasted with the Mi-24D. Your gun's the same, but your rocket pods are bigger. You carry fewer of them, but you get a bit more HE, actually twice the HE. And you get more accuracy, but that missile is especially interesting at 2800 meter range versus 2625.
20 AP power.
20 AP, 40% stabilizer.
Yeah, interesting vehicle.
Alright, and then finally air.
Well,
a lot of the Voltour options.
They don't have too many air power, but although I don't see this coalition to be a really big powerhouse.
No.
It definitely has very good units and interesting ones, but
infantry, I think, is going to be your carry force. Infantry and groups of tanks.
Maybe for town fighting they are actually good.
Yeah.
And maybe even I would go as far as saying flank defense.
Yeah, something like that. So we got a Voltour that carries napalm bombs. We got a Voltour that carries 100 kilogram bombs, but a load of them. I think I heard Sniper say earlier today that they were not that good, those 100 kilogram bombs. Like, they don't pack enough of a punch.
Maybe against infantry.
The unit model looks off. I think.
I think it's an SS-11 if you ask me.
Yeah, their anti-tank missiles under the
well.
wings.
You
Which
got to
is
give them some sort of
actually-
model. At least they changed it.
Yeah.
And the SS-11 is based on the World War II German rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
that's
there's
right.
two
So
with
it is.
custom
Look at it.
ones.
Yeah.
So,
Not too survivable, these things at 0 ECM. Time over target of 60 seconds. On larger
Yeah.
maps, you might not even be able to get to the other side.
Well, they have a respectable speed of 900.
Yeah. IAR... What does IAR stand for? Because they all have it.
It's a aircraft manufacturer
all.
like MiG.
Okay.
These seem to be.
These are Romanians.
Yeah, the Romanians. Yeah.
They made a name for themselves back in World War II. They actually produced quality fighters. So they were even on par with the German ones.
Yeah.
The IAR 99 Soim, I think.
I guess.
Looks like a
Shoei-
throwaway plane.
Rocket pods, infrared missiles.
Yeah. Survivability's bad. No ECM. Speed 750. Any respectable fighters can intercept you very quick.
I think.
Also 60 seconds on target.
Yeah.
I
At
think it's
750, that cuts into range.
it's the kind of interceptor that when the enemy is sending a bomber at you and you have nothing in the air and it has passed your front line. But
This is what you sent.
well, these cases actually happen sometime. So
Yeah.
nobody has anything up. Your anti-air was, let's say, was killed by seed, or they have recons on your spawn and they want to bomb your CV. And for that very short range, I think it's actually a decent choice.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you just want to kill the recon group, you have the rocket pods.
Yeah.
I can definitely see the situation where I would want to use these.
The other rocket pod plane is a bit faster and has bigger rockets. 57s versus 80s. Hold up.
Yeah.
If these are the same 80mm rocket pods that we've seen on the Mi-24D, no, V, then why do these things do 3 HE? Because they're S8. They're the exact same rocket pod.
If
What
you
did they
ask
do to
me,
it? Is it faster or something because you're throwing them out of a plane instead of out of a helicopter?
I think it's
Get more
just balance.
kinetic damage.
Yeah,
I think it has to do with balance.
Yeah.
yeah, something like that.
But this MiG-21 is actually a decent vehicle.
MiG-23 BN. Big bomber.
Your standard bomber.
Yeah.
MiG-21 bis. If it's written like this, this is Hungarian
Okay.
with the North Korean livery. So yeah, it's a special one. Or wait, isn't
on
it
the cover.
Chinese?
It's Chinese, yeah.
Yeah, Chinese. Sorry, I just
A couple of
offended half of Asia there.
4 medium-range air-to-air missiles. Not bad.
Decent fighter.
I think
Yeah,
they
for
have
the-
meme potential if you fly them out into groups of 3 or 4.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
throw
for the
20
mid-
missiles at a plane and see what happens.
Yeah, for the middle price range, I think it's a very capable fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The MLD.
I've never seen. Sorry,
same
go on. Yeah.
actives. Not bad.
Hmm.
7,000 meter range. Accuracy could be better because you're also still fighting ECM with the other plane.
Yeah.
It's also
MiG-29.
interesting. I rarely, if ever, use anyone using MiG-23s in the base game.
Yeah. Problem with the base game is everyone uses the same units, I think. Even though there's such a variety of units in the game, I don't see people, branching out from the ones that are good and the one, and with good reason. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing or anything. Well, it is there's so much room to maneuver, but yet most of it is just pure shite.
You would be happy that there are 2,000 units in the game almost.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you would only need 5 to have 2,000 units in the game.
Yeah.
And it would just be interesting to see, well, technically not all of them at the same time because it would kill your computer. But it would be very nice to see the variety.
Yeah.
But the problem is that there is a meta in the game. Well, almost every game has a meta, so it's completely understandable.
I think one game where you could see very, very many different units is straight to the point, 50,000 points.
Yeah.
Mhm. But
Just
for
people
example,
start throwing out units that they normally wouldn't use.
for example, I have yet to be in a match to see someone use the Sonderwagen. If you're at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the Saracen, for that matter.
Yeah, the Saracen as well. Yeah.
MiG-29, beautiful as ever. 8,400 meter range on the missiles.
That's the most amount of missiles I've seen on a Finnish MiG-29 ever.
It gives me nightmares. Decent accuracy, 6 AG. Isn't it more than in the base game? Cannot remember the AG values honestly.
No, I think the standard missiles, the fire and forgets, are always 5, and the semi-actives are 6 to sort of offset that.
Okay then.
If you look at it side by side with an NF-15C enhanced Eagle, you're getting better range than the Eagle, which is 45 more points. But that thing fires AMRAAMs at you, which are fire and forget.
And I assume they have more ECM?
Yeah, 40 versus 20. They will, well, they might spot you earlier, because they got exceptional air detection, you only have very good. And then in a dogfight roll, I'd say the Eagle might win that.
Yeah, it would be more like a question of opportunities and situations than actual raw data. But yeah, decent plane.
Opinions on the MiG-23 MF?
What?
Yeah, that's gonna do some damage.
And then some. That's 28 and 30.
Although 10% ECM means it could be countered relatively easily.
Yeah, but with 28 AP, it's going to kill your tank commander and rebirth him into an abortion.
Seriously, those are really high values.
Yeah.
That one-shots any tank?
Yeah, and if it's not enough, I...
Fire again.
No, the Su-22 M3.
Yeah, it's even 30%.
That's 30.
And it's also got 20% ECM, so your survivability has gone up a small bit.
Yeah.
I always think that the Su-22 has such small wings. Sure, they branch out later, but early on they look, especially if you look at it from the front, with this background, it almost looks like it has barely any wings.
Yeah.
The design philosophy was mainly, and I'm going to very much simplify it, but the basic design philosophy was with the MiG-21. Where do you want it to be quick? In the straights. Do you want to turn? Fuck no. Okay then.
The Poles still use it, don't they?
As far as I
21?
know...
The 22, Su-22.
As far as I know, they do.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It's heavily upgraded though with like American avionics and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know when we pushed them out of service, but we used to use them. In fact, the model that you have here is the specific Hungarian model. This is a model that we used.
Yeah.
Just trivia that. Well, if my teachers lied to me back in school, I'm going to lie to everyone. So if the if the info is not correct, I apologize. But we were told that this variant was unique in a way that Hungarian officials asked the guys at Sukhoi that we would like a variant of this plane that would have the same engine as the MiG-21 because logistics reasons. So the engine is different from the basic model, but as far as I know, the survivability is not improved. So we didn't get the improvement from the further models. It's safety-wise the same model as the first one. So it's just a logistics.
If you get the same engine as the MiG-21, shouldn't it be faster? Because the MiG-21 has that 1000 speed.
Yeah, but this is definitely a heavier plane.
Yeah, okay, it might not be able to push it that fast. Yeah.
But
and then you got 25 napalm bombs on an Su-25? Okay, then.
This has just become an all-rounder for 100 points.
Pretty much. It does make sense from a close combat support role.
Yeah, if you look at the role, it's very much a sensible choice, but still strange to see.
Yeah.
And
I think you're going to have to really micromanage this thing and turn off evac on Winchester, otherwise it's going to drop off those bombs and possibly just fly out, or it's going to send off your missiles and fly out.
yeah, but if you can organize with two people, let's say someone is going to keep ASF and someone is going to keep their eyes on anti-air or operate the seed all the time,
Yeah.
this is going to be the terror for Blue 4.
Yeah, it is. I mean, between killing infantry and killing armored vehicles, it's going to be pretty good.
It can off anything.
It's also not expensive.
For 100 points, definitely not.
Normally you pay, what, 140 to 200 for an SU-25?
And it also has... It has 12 HP. It's actually more than it used to be, isn't it?
Well, the SU-25s were always extremely survivable, but 12?
Yeah. I think in the basic game they had more armor, but still 10 HP.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. But now they have 1 armor, but 12.
Just going back on what I said a minute ago, the Polish Air Force still operates 18 Sukhoi Su-22s.
Good to know. Good on them. It's actually a good choice.
And then finally we have the SU-22 M4 seaplane.
Which has got 2 a seed missile and 2 cluster bombs.
Yeah, really interesting.
I see the AA. I'm definitely going to kill it one way or another.
Yep. Exceptions being infantry. For those of you guys watching, no, you cannot kill infantry with cluster bombs. It still doesn't work.
How long is the game out and people are still trying that?
Oh, just about 6 years now. Actually, the game came out in April 2014, so it is 6 years.
6 years.
Happy anniversary, Wargame.
The thing about, you mentioned this earlier, Stelt, about this SU-22 is the fact that if you know where the radar is, or where the AA is, and they switch off their radar so your seed missile can't hit it, go after them with the cluster bombs.
Yeah.
40 ECM is, 40% ECM.
And I think it's also more of a psychological thing, because most people will turn off their NTR if they see you coming in with a seaplane. But you have a 4.9 kilometer range, so you might already know where they are. You're just not in range yet, so you'll see them, they turn it off, but they won't move it.
Yeah.
So you'll still nail it. If they turn it on last second, sorry, but you're already getting cluster bombed.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a nasty unit if you are not prepared for it.
Yeah.
And the enemy knows where your AA is.
Overall opinions on the deck?
Well, I personally think that it's an interesting collection. I wouldn't want to be with this deck if I was to be the main force that's pushing the front line. However, for even flank defense or a second wave assault, I think it's an ideal deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's. I could see myself building a decent deck out of this. But I suppose it's all through trial and error, like everything, really. I need to actually sit down and play a game or two with them. But yeah, it's an interesting. It's like looking when you take into account the fact that armor is not as heavy on most vehicles, and you're looking at the different kind of points or whatever. 28 AP is pretty good and all that. Well, I know that's good in the base game as well, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, more so, units with 28 AP power, for example, will knock out a unit in one shot. And it's nice to be able to think that that's it's a little bit more realistic, I think.
And also, one role that many wouldn't think about is the support air role. Like, not when you are the ASF guy, but the seed, the anti-tank, the intermediate fighters, interceptors.
Yeah, you got a lot of aerial options with this deck.
Yeah, so it is flexible on its own terms. It's definitely worth a try, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it would make a good mechanized deck.
And even an early land grabber with the air-to-air
nice, I think
unfortunately, the T-55 with the HEGM is not classed as mechanized. It's armored or even motorized, but it's not mech. That's a bit of a loss, because then you're going to have to figure out a way to get that big anti-tank capability.
Mm-hmm.
You get the only tanks you get then in mechanized is the T55A, the TR85, and the T62M.
Although with motorized it can work.
It can.
Because
That's true.
motorized still allows you to use the best kind of infantry that
Mm-hmm.
this type has to offer.
With better veterancy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although the parachutist is something that you will not be able to rely on because it's only airborne.
Yeah.
Well, switch to the Tikina and you still got very good infantry.
Mm-hmm. And if you
the
want
rest
to,
of it might make up for rank and just numbers.
yeah, early land grab ejtőernyős, the Hungarian paratroopers, you fly in,
Mm-hmm.
you follow up with Tikina, but for that you would need plenty of points, of course. But
Yeah.
it's just the
Or
theoretical.
BTR 80, or sorry, BTR 60 and rush them in by road.
Mm-hmm. Have T55s them in support, and Su-76 has motorized. Yeah, you can even bring Su-76s.
Yeah, something like that.
So
Yeah, I
the
think
flag.
this would make an interesting deck to play. We should do that at some point.
Yeah, why not?
Alright, for those of you watching, I am very curious to see what your opinions are on this deck. Keep in mind that the 1991 mod changes a lot of units, and I was just discussing with the guys this one segment. The deck for example, UK, US, France, there are all sorts of changes. All round, the armor has been reduced to around 20, so it's no longer the 23, 24 top value, but it's a bit lower. That makes units that were originally maybe not that dangerous suddenly a whole lot more dangerous. So let me know, what are your thoughts on this deck? Post that down below in the comments. If you want to play this mod, you can do so by downloading it from the Discord of the guys from the 1991 mod. I'll link that in the description. And you can probably also find a game there, because that's the place where I would go to get a game with the guys who probably already played this mod. Installing it's very easy. You download an installer, the game is even, or the installer is even going to ask you, do you want to create a separate profile in order to play with? Which means that all of your existing decks, I believe, do get backed up. So you're going to have your standard decks when you return to your standard wargame. And the game with the mod launcher allows you to switch between the mod and the vanilla game very quickly. Anyway, with that, ends the video. Thank you, Sparky and Atesz, for commentating and pronunciation support.
Thanks very much for the invite.
Love
I hope
Ash.
you guys enjoyed the video, and see you soon for more.